Hey everyone, a really warm welcome back. We're heading towards the Caravan and Motorhome club site at Rookesbury Park. That's near Fareham in Hampshire. We're meeting some friends there, and so there's actually 4 of us in the car today. The friends have a tent, so we've chosen Rookesbury because they can camp at the same site, which is rather handy. So I guess a little bit unusually for a mainly caravanning channel, I'll pop a little tour of the tent field into the video later on. We've been to Rookesbury before, so we know that if you're coming from the north, which let's face it is probably most of us, given that this is the South Downs National Park, then sat-navs or Google Maps just can't be trusted, because they both try to send you down the most ridiculous skinny lanes. Gives me flashbacks of Cornish lanes actually. Anyway, we're going to stay on this, which is the A32, all the way down until we get to Wickham Village. I think it's a village, Wickham Village itself, and then we turn left onto the B2177, then left again onto what's called 100 Acres Road, which is the road that the site's on itself. Then finally we turn left almost 180 degrees back on ourselves, so it's quite a tight turn into the approach lane for the site itself. Anyway, we're not far away now, so just enjoy the rest of the drive. Okay, card and money and things. Okay, well hello, this is future me. I'm sorry we've had to switch to the dash cam. because Mike is the co-pilot today, and unfortunately he's not as well trained as the kids. So when you say, "Are you sure the GoPro is still on? Has it got a little red dot on?" and he says yes, then you believe him. Unfortunately, the answer should have been no. So anyway, here we are on dash cam footage, but you can see where we're going because it's super wide angle, this one. Now, in the editing, I'm going to speed the footage up to double speed because otherwise this video will take forever. But I am going to edit this into quite in-depth detail because Rookesbury has a huge amount of little grassy pitches within the roads themselves, that it's a little bit tricky to know actually how you access each of those areas. So I'll make sure to insert lots of location plans so you can see where we are on the drive. And then if you're coming here and you look at the map beforehand and decide on a sort of short list of pitches that you might like to go on if they're free, you'll have a better idea of how to get to each of those. Anyway, I'll start waffling on and you can enjoy the drive round and see what the site looks like. Okay, so now let's take a little drive off. So starting on our pitch on 96 and then heading off. Actually, you'll have spotted a load of tents here on the left, and on this point of tents on caravan and motorhome club sites, I think it's great that underutilised areas can be repurposed. So for example, like the field where our friends are with the non-electric hookups. Well, and I'll insert some footage later to show around there. But it seems to me that some of the touring pitches here, so those labelled 57 through to about 60 or 62, seem to have been relabelled as electric tent hookup pitches, and I have to say that makes me quite uncomfortable. You know, fair enough if the pitches aren't big enough to get most caravans on, but as the owner of a caravan that's actually smaller than a lot of big family tents, I have to say that I'm really not very happy if there's clear demand from caravan or motorhome owning club members for these pitches. Then why use them for non-members and tents? Because of course you don't have to be a member to bring a tent here, especially during peak periods like this. This is the August bank holiday weekend. All it does is reduce the number of pitches open to members. I can't say I'm in favour of having pitches up here. Absolutely reutilise areas that are underutilised. But don't take away the caravan and motorhome pitches, especially in peak season. There were caravans on these when we were here 2 years ago, so I don't see that space can really be that much of an issue on these, but you know, maybe it is. So in summary, I'd say that our impressions are that some of the hard-standing pitches feel a little bit squashed together. The roads are on arcs themselves, so if you find yourself on the inside of an arc, I think they just feel a little bit tighter. Now, I'm sure they're at the regulation spacing. Maybe they just had huge vehicles on them, or maybe the quite thin roads between the different roads that makes it feel a little bit squashed in those sort of areas. Or maybe it's something to do with the terracing itself. But others are really, really spacious, as are, I think, most of the grassy pitches which I've seen, and the grassy pitches are all over the site in little areas in the middle. On the downside though, it isn't always clear how you're supposed to access some of the different grassy areas because it's not marked on the map at all. Those are particularly in the middle of the site. So it would be really helpful, I think, if the map could be upgraded for next season with those printed on. And also it isn't entirely clear in some places how you access the loo blocks from the grassy areas. A bit later on I'll put in a bit of footage. And I thought that was supposed to be a route through, but maybe looking back at it, it wasn't, and I've just walked through someone's pitch, so, that's a terrible crime in my book. I hate it happening to us, so I feel absolutely awful now having looked back at the footage. So one of the downsides of these groups of grassy pitches in an area is, of course, they can be a little bit too tight to spin around, and you end up doing 3, 4, 5 point turns in your caravan, especially if you're on your own. If you've got a co-pilot, you can send them off to go and see which pitches are available. So what I do, particularly because I'm on my own most of the time, is that when I'm checking in, I have a look at the board, and I have a sort of short list of pitches that I think on paper look like they would suit us really well, especially with our door on the wrong hand side, and I check with the wardens which ones are free. So unless anybody's leapt onto that pitch in the meantime and not let the wardens know where they are, we can head towards that and not have to worry about getting stuck anywhere. Okay, so let's head down towards the tent field. But first of all, we come to what looks like a really nice big doggy exercise area. And actually I've spotted a couple of what are labelled as doggy pit stops. So from the point of view of I have to admit it, a non-doggy fan, well, that's not fair. It's more irresponsible dog owners who let their pooches use pitches as toilets and then tie them up at the edge of pitches and just allow them to bark at every single person passing that I object to, not the poor pooch itself. Anyway, there are a couple of these pit stops around the site, so you don't have to walk all the way down to the doggy exercise area to empty your pet. So that's really helpful. Anyway, if we head around a bit more, we end up in the tent field itself. So the tent field neighbours the doggy exercise area, but it's all fenced off, so it's separate. And at the moment, our friends have got the field completely to themselves, but it is due to fill up. So I'll do a bit of filming now, and then a bit of filming once others have started to arrive, so you can get a sense of the spaciousness of the field itself. Actually, we're not often away over the weekend, and usually make a point of being at home for bank holiday weekends. So it's an experience for us as well to see what the sites are like at peak periods. Probably the most spacious tent field I think I've ever seen. Having said that, there aren't masses of facilities down here. There isn't even a water tap that I can find. Just bins, recycling and main bins, and then a swatter in case any of the grass catches fire. And the pitches themselves are just marked out by being mown into the long grass. But actually I think that works really well, so the club have done a good job down here. But it does seem to be quite a trek to carry water from the main service points or to use the loo. So here we are later on as promised, and the tent field has filled up along with the heavens opening. So we were hoping to be able to park up on this back row because it looks like from Google Satellite that actually you can nip through from the tent field, but that's not at all true. The whole the two areas are securely fenced off, and the shrubs have really grown up since those satellite images were taken, so it's not at all possible to nip through between the caravans and the tent field. Now you've got to go out the main entrance way for it, but that's fine. And the parking for the tents is here on the left. You're not allowed to park on your pitch, although you are allowed to drive through and drop your stuff off. And then we're past this gorgeous Airstream. You know, I've loved these things for as long as I can remember. And then we're up on 96, backing on to the lower loo block, and 96 is on grass. I won't give you a tour of the loo block because you know what loo blocks look like with Caravan and Motorhome Club by now. So I'll just spin around a little bit and then you can see what this part of the site looks like on foot. And then up at the top of this road is the play area. So there's a big ball field, a couple of goal posts, and rather usefully a boule or pétanque court. So that's good. We've got a load of boule balls on board, so we could give that a go if it's not raining later. Okay, and that's us done. So I hope that really detailed tour was useful. Hopefully, because some of the little entrances to the grassy pitches are a bit hidden, then hopefully the map and the arrows were helpful. So we're heading home now. In the next video I'll take you on a walk around the Forest of Bear, and we set off in search of the Meon Trail. But for today, that's it for now.